Scottish people. And lastly, I will talk about Peru and how music not only differs but defines each three regions of the country. But first, let's give the floor to Carla, who's going to tell us more about music.
The small country of Ghana in sub-Saharan Africa is known for its festivals, music, and traditional dances. It's made up of vibrant ethnic groups, and its geographic location gives it an access to different cultures around the world, especially South America, Central, and North America. And therefore, they take the combination of old cultural traditions and bring in new inspirations from all around the world to create the music of Ghana we know today. One of the most distinct characteristics of Ghanaian music is what's called cross rhythms, and that is the simultaneous combination of different rhythms. Now, any musician would know that a duple meter and a triple meter, which is 2 beats per measure and 3 beats per measure, combining those is very difficult. But to the Ghanaians, it represents the very fabric of life, the challenging moments, the ups and downs, and the emotional stress. Instruments in Ghana include xylophones, bells, hand pianos, friction drums, but the most important instrument in Ghana is the drum. Musicians use wood and often turn pottery that they've created over and use their hands and sticks to play the drum. One of the most significant functions of music in Ghana is that it is a huge part of daily life. Songs accompany rites of passage such as marriage, death, or the birth of a new child. And also, it's a conditioning mind and body for tasks ahead, such as war, hunting, and jobs that they need to prepare themselves for. Second, Ghanaian music is also very religious, particularly in the south of Ghana. In the book Musics of Many Cultures, edited by Elizabeth May, notes, Ghanaians believe that there's a spirit that responds to the call of men through their music. They believe that music enables them to renew their consciousness of the safety and well-being in the hands of the gods. Also, they use their music to ward off those evil spirits and also to pay respect to the good spirits and to their dead ancestors. Music is a symbol of the essence of life in Ghana, and the color, bustle, and thrive of music represents that life. Thirdly, music in Ghana, there is a close connection between the music and the language. It's functional in nature. Native speakers of the language can perceive messages, and the speech is imitated by the different intonations and pitches, such as the different bells and the drums, and those actually represent different messages to the speakers, particularly the talking drums in Ghana. They imitate the speech tones of the native speakers. And lastly, but not least, music is a form of entertainment, what Ghanaians would call play. It's a vehicle of thought and dramatic expression, and they use it particularly in storytelling. Props, costumes, dancing, sculpture, metalwork, all of these elements bring together the story of life that Ghanaians tell through their music. Genres today include blues, jazz, and rumba, and all of that derives from music in Ghana, all the music that we know today. In a 2007 article, BBC News, Professor John Collins, a musicologist at the University of Ghana, said that combining the so-called high-class music with local street tunes, a totally different type of music was formed, the high life that we know today. And we'll hear a little bit of a taste of this high life. It combines it's the first pop music in Ghana. It combines contemporary jazz, and you can hear the underlying Latin tradition in it, and it's catchy and repetitive. Many uses of music in Ghana. Connie Roman, a scholar from SIT Graduate Institute, notes that Ghanaians have used music and beliefs as a way to reaffirm their cultural beliefs in her article on traditional dance. And now Jacob will tell you about the music in India and its importance.
Many Americans may not know that India has many of the same genres that we do. They have genres such as folk, classical, popular, and R&B. I'm going to tell you about 2 of those genres today. The first genre I'm going to tell you about is classical. Indian classical music is one of the oldest unbroken musical traditions in the world. David Courtney, an expert on classical music, stated that a large foundation of classical music is founded by Sangeet. Sangeet is a synonym for music, although it consists of three categories: dance, song, and instrumental music. These art forms are normally consisted together and practiced together, but recently have been practiced separately in their different art forms. Indian classical music is used for mythological stories as well. L. Manuel, an author of an Indian music book, states that there are two major forms of Indian classical music. There's the north and then there's the south. The north is Hindustani Sangeet, which consists of Afghanistan and northern India. And it roots from South Russia, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. This Hindustani Sangeet tells a story of economy, religion, and even cultural background. It is more popular because it uses the familiar Indian instrument, the sitar. South India, on the other hand, uses Carnatic Sangeet. Carnatic Sangeet is similar to the north, but not as popular because it doesn't use the sitar, although you do hear the violin often. They focus less on entertainment and more on technique, which makes it more beautiful, but it's not as entertaining to the public. Now, I'm going to switch gears into popular music. Popular music is an important genre to understand. Most popular music is a form of Bollywood film music, like this clip I'm going to play about Lagan, the movie, which has a lot of film music inside of it. Go ahead. Lagan and Slumdog Millionaire are cultural staples. Lagan's music shows history, religion, love, and culture. As U.S. has started to leave musicals like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, India has embraced them with movies such as Lagan and Slumdog Millionaire. S. Chakrabarty, an author of an Indian film book, stated that in the 1930s, India had rarely any films without musical and dance talent inside of it. Song and dance are culturally very much more important in India than they are in the U.S. Music and dance are an increased sense of entertainment and are just much better in India. Films without this considered music are considered art cinema because they just don't have the same entertainment facts that American films do. In clubs, if you went to a club, you could hear Indian pop music. Indie pop, or it's called otherwise. Indie pop is the second most entertaining music in India, other than the Bollywood film music, which is ironic because it derives from Indian Bollywood music. There aren't many pure producers such as Kanye West because people would rather go to and see a movie to listen to their favorite music. And indie pop is formed from folk and classical music with beats that form from everywhere. And it's more about cultural significance. It's not just about partying and having fun. Indie pop music is not about drug references or sex. It has different religions, beliefs, and cultural views that make up what it is today. Now, we've talked about India and we've talked about Ghana. Now we're going to move northwest to Scotland to listen to some music there.
Thank you. Now, traditional Scotland was greatly influenced by music in its culture, its religion, and also its entertainment. Folk music especially was important in defining Scotland's culture. In the 1973 publishing, A History of Scotland, research authors Kenneth Eliot and Frederick Rimmer traced the origins of folk music in Scotland back to the early 17th century. Now, during this time, the upper class ruled everything. Poor countrymen had little except for their music. So creating folk tunes was a way to make something of their own that couldn't be taken away from them. And popular subject matter of this folk music centered on daily life, with musicians using folk to portray hardships of the lower class and also the injustices in society. Now, other common topics would be work, love, family issues, and relationships similar to cultures from all over the world. These ideas could be considered the groundwork for early country music. And the people of Scotland and their ways can also be identified through Scottish music. When someone thinks of Scotland, they might picture Mel Gibson's painted face from Braveheart, groundskeeper Willie of The Simpsons, but usually an idea in your mind will probably be a man in a kilt playing bagpipes. Yeah, it's exciting. But you can all picture a guy in a red and black checkered kilt playing the bagpipes. And this iconic and recognizable instrument has actually become practically a symbol of the Scottish culture. It's not used by every person walking around in Scotland, but it's an important symbol. Also, it's used in traditional ceremonies, such as when a person is knighted, weddings, and we know it well in funerals, which can all be religious ceremonies. Now, religion can be expressed through Scottish music. In the 2001 United Kingdom census, it's reported that over 65% of the Scottish population practices some form of Christianity, with 42% of the country belonging to one denomination, the Kirk, otherwise known as the Church of Scotland. Now, the practices are